Hi everyone, Shane Stevenson, Director of Museum Collections and Curator here at the Buffalo Naval Park. And for today's video, what we are doing is we are in the aft battery compartment on the USS Croaker. Can't really, it's cold down here, but you can't see your breath, can you, Steven?
A little bit.
A little bit? Okay, maybe I just don't have breath within me. Anyway, hope you've been enjoying the 29 and 29 so far. Looking forward to bringing you a lot more content throughout the rest of this month. But Steven, if you pan around a little bit, what you're going to see is the after battery is turned into kind of a storage area or a waylay station. All right, so battery growth can be tied to submarine growth. All right, they always used one or two batteries and then certain cells to power those batteries. All right, up until the USS Sargo, they had used anywhere from, say, 46 to 120 cells per battery. But after the Sargo and through all of the fleet boats, for the most of the fleet boats for World War II, what they would use is about 126 cells for two batteries, giving a total of 252 cells per battery. We are in one compartment which would have housed 126, almost 1 ton or 1,700 pounds per cell. So it was about 54 inches tall, 17 by 24 inches. They were huge. And if you take a look, what we'll be looking at is a huge U-shaped pattern. All right, so there would be batteries all along the center here, and then one step up, there would be batteries here, and then 2 steps up, there would be batteries here. All right, so when you looked at it longwise, fore to aft, you would have this really nice U-shaped battery here, up here, and then also up to here. What we're looking at here, which I think I'm looking at for the first time, is they had to have distilled water, and that was one of the daily duties on board, was to top off each cell with distilled water. And so there were these 4 container units of distilled water that would have 256, I think it was, Stephen? Let's see. 255 gallons in here. And then that would be used to top off the batteries. Now the batteries were lead acid-based wet batteries. All right, what they did was they were going to come up with either lead plating or like a lead putty mixture. All right, and the lead putty mixture was found to be able to produce more power. All right, because you have all those lumps and bumps in there, and it created more surface area than just a flat lead surface. So when they're ramping up for World War II and the Pacific Ocean, hey Stephen, is the Pacific Ocean pretty big?
A little bit.
A little bit.
A little bit.
I would say it's pretty big. So what they decided to do for the fleet boats was to build 4 engines. They had 4 engines, as if you're a submarine fan, you'd know that. And for her SSK conversion, the Croaker had one of those engines removed. But so you had 4 engines, but you still only had 2 shafts for the propellers. So what to do with the 2 other engines, all right, electric diesel engines? Well, now you can use them to charge the batteries. All right, so each compartment would give you total about 250 volts and about 9,300 amps that could be drawn from this one compartment. So you include the forward battery compartment, you're now looking at 500 volts total, because each cell would produce about 2 volts, 2.5 volts per cell when it's running at optimum levels. All right, as it's getting down to discharge, of course, that voltage goes down to 1 volt per cell, things like that. But when you're running at optimum, you can get 2.25, 2.5 volts per cell. And So now in total between the two compartments, you can offer about 500 volts. And what would that be? 18,600 amps. All right. Now, some of you are much more technical than I am, especially in electricity. I didn't study electricity, so I can't really explain the difference between amps and voltage. One is the mainstream, and one is the pipe that comes off of it, and how much is running through that as opposed to the full stream. So that might be a very weak and bad analogy. So please leave us a comment, things like that, because again, I didn't go to a school where I studied electrician work or electrical work. So thank you. But getting back to this, thank you. But getting back to this, so there would be all the U-shaped cells in here. You're taking distilled water. Someone's climbing on top of the batteries and filling them back up to keep them wet. And to keep all those lumps and bumps in the lead paste supple, so to speak. But they each had, when you were going through a charging cycle, this compartment would really give off a lot of hydrogen gas. Right? That's not good for the crew, especially in an enclosed space. So each cell had a vent attached to it that would then run out of this compartment and into the engine intake and then right out into the air in the Pacific Ocean or wherever they were located. So there's a way of shunting all of those fumes, those negative hydrogen gas fumes, with each exhaust being connected, or each exhaust having a vent on it that would then be connected and then head out through the engine compartments and then out. So this was a way of running silent when the submarine had to submerge. Again, we didn't have snorkel technology until the Guppy class and the SSK class in the early 50s. But also for the Guppy class, what they did was they expanded out the 2 battery compartments to 4 battery compartments. All right, so they would have taken space below the main deck here that would have been used for refrigeration or small arms or other little lockers. And they built 2 more battery compartments. So now instead of 256, you would have, what's 256 times 2? 512 or, yeah, something. Okay, good. Thank you. You would have 512 cells running 4 batteries. All right, so this space isn't open on the tour route, but if you go and you are now in the berthing compartment, the main berthing compartment for the crew, where there would have been 36 lockers up here, we are right below that space. And I wish we had a battery to demonstrate, but I've seen one at the USS Cobia, 54 inches, 17 by 24. So, and that really being in the lower half of the boat really helped the stability of the boats as they traverse the waters of the Pacific and then the Mediterranean and Atlantic during her SSK conversion. Well, I hope you liked this video. And again, please leave comments about voltage and amps and things like that. There's only so much I can understand from reading a technical manual, if you can imagine that. Thanks again to Stephen behind the camera. It's pretty chilly down here, so he's been good. And I guess we'll see you again soon. Thanks so much for your continued support, and on the morrow.